Hello everyone, today I'll be walking you guys through the new OpenJustice platform. Here on the website, you'll be greeted with our new builder interface. There are 4 nodes, the fact node, reasoning node, switch node, and outcome node you can play around with. When you click into one of the nodes, you'll be able to configure the different settings. Every node has a name field which allows you to label the different nodes you'll be working with. Particularly for the fact node, the fact node is used to extract information from the user's text or documents that they upload. You can add multiple facts within a fact node. You can specify whether or not the information is required or optional, the different data types the data should be returned back as, and the source preference, which is where the information should come from, whether it be the user's text messages or the documents that they upload. Now on to the reasoning node. The reasoning node is similar to the fact node, where it analyzes questions and extracts a response back for it, but it allows you to analyze more complex questions. So imagine you're answering whether or not harassment has occurred in the workplace. You can analyze smaller sub-questions like whether or not verbal harassment has occurred, or whether or not physical harassment has occurred. And you can answer those smaller sub-part questions before answering the overarching question of whether or not harassment has occurred. It allows you to break down the question into smaller sub-questions, essentially. The criteria button allows you to add or specify additional rules and definitions that help the LLM answer the main reasoning question. You can provide additional regulations, definitions, laws to help support your overarching question that you have in hand. On top of that, there's also the document search. The document search is primarily used for retrieving relevant documents to help answer the question. Particularly for our use cases for our application, it allows you to retrieve back relevant case law, but this could also be used for searching back statutes, regulations to help support your claim. For right now, we only have constructive dismissal uploaded, but in the future, we'll have Swiss law data and other forms of data sources uploaded into our database. Now moving on to the switch node. The switch node allows you to conditionally branch to different pathways of your workflow or reasoning flow based off of the information you've gathered from the facts or the reasoning node. So as you can see, the different possibilities you can choose from our list of fact nodes and reasoning nodes. You can then specify a specific value that you want to look for, and if that condition is met, it will go down that branch. And if none of those conditions are met within the branches above, the default branch is taken as the last resort. Now, finally, the outcome node is used to specify the template and format that the LLM should respond back to in terms of its answer. We have a legal opinion prompt, a demand letter prompt that's configured that is pre-built for users to use, but they can also specify their own template where they can just provide the system instructions here for how the response should be formatted. Now, let's walk through an example dialog flow that I've created ahead of time and see it in action. This dialog flow is used particularly for determining whether or not a car purchase is a good decision or not. If we look at the fact nodes, we're gathering these pieces of information: the car price, the user's monthly income, as well as the insurance cost. Those 3 pieces of information are the facts that we'll extract from the conversation or the documents they upload. And then within the reasoning node, we'll do some more complex analysis, which is should I buy the car? We're going to analyze whether or not purchasing the car is a good decision based off the criteria such as analyzing the financial requirements. And those financial requirements will come from this child reasoning node, which analyzes the question of is the car financially affordable? So it'll analyze the purchase price, the insurance cost, and some of the rules and criteria that we have to look for are: is the monthly payments less than or equal to 15% of the monthly income, and is the insurance premiums less than or equal to 5% of the monthly income? So those are the criteria factors. And then we're going to move on to the switch node, where we'll determine, based off the response from the reasoning node of whether or not we should buy the car, we'll tell the user that the car is a good purchase, and we'll give a few bullet points why, and vice versa. If it's not a good purchase, we'll give them a couple bullet points as well. So let's go over to our conversation page. We'll click on this little icon up here to expand the side nav. We'll click on creating a new conversation. We will then just click this little tool button down here, and we'll click on the corresponding dialog flow, the car purchase decision. We can start the dialog flow immediately without setting any prompts, so we'll do that first and see what happens. It will now go through the dialog flow, starting off from the start node and then transitioning to the first node that's after it. So we're asked a couple of questions, such as the information of what's the total price of the car, what's the client's monthly income, and insurance cost. I've prepared a small prompt already with all this information, and we'll submit that and see what happens. So it's now going to rerun the fact node and analyze all those questions, and we can see the breakdown of all the analysis. So what was the first question was, what's the total price of the car? It determined it was $30,000 with the rationale. It gave a source for where it got that information. Looks at the other two pieces of questions, like was the client's monthly income, $5,000, monthly insurance costs, $150. Now we just went to the next reasoning node. Instead of answering the first question, which is the overarching question of should we buy this car, we answered the child reasoning node first. And we got a response of yes, this is a reasonable financial purchase. And it gives the rationale. I'll let you read that. I'll let you pause the video and read that. It looked at some of the criteria to answer that question before answering the main question. And now we're jumping back to the main reasoning node, which is, should I buy this car? So the AI LLMs basically said yes, and it gave its rationale here, and it answers the criteria as well. So as you can see, it then went to the switch node, determined which value or which pathway we should have chose. And then for the final outcome, it spits out the exact template that we specified, whether or not we should purchase the car, as well as a few bullet points for exactly the rationale why. And that concludes the new OpenJustice platform. Feel free to let us know if you have any questions, but that should be everything. Thank you.